Hello and welcome to the eDiscovery Red Zone. This is Tom O'Connor of Digital War Room, along with Browning Marian of DLA Piper in San Diego. Browning, how are you this morning?
Well, I'm doing just fine. It's a foggy day here in San Diego, but I think it's going to probably crack 75 today.
Oh, a real heat wave, huh? Well,
yeah, heat wave here in San Diego.
Now, you and I are both en route later in the week to Las Vegas for the ILTA conference, where
Yes.
when I checked the temperature yesterday, it was a cool and breezy 105. So
Yeah.
don't, pack your short sleeve shirts.
Well, the one thing I can say about going to Las Vegas is that they do have this modern convenience known as air conditioning.
Yes.
And
Well,
I'm not shy about just staying indoors there.
No, well, the good thing, too, is that they've got those self-contained facilities of the conferences at Caesar's Palace, as you know, which has a mall that rivals most malls in American towns, as well as great restaurants. And, yeah, they really do try to keep you in and I hesitate to say hold you hostage, but really there's not a whole lot of reason to go out. So I'm with you. And ILTA, luckily, there's so much going on that it is one of those shows where you can literally stay wrapped up in it for a couple of days. So,
well, absolutely. I'm impressed at the number of invites and receptions and opportunities. I have tried to keep my schedule as clear as I can and really just sort of catch up with people on the floor at my pace. And then the other thing about going away for 3 days is I do find that I need to spend time back in my room on the internet, keeping the ball moving, so it's not all ILTA. So
yeah, I've got you. You do when you're away from the office that much, it's difficult. So, as we were talking earlier on the subject of books, but thank God for technology, which allows us to stay connected. As you had said, the pace of technology is changing so rapidly. Well, on that line, I just wanted to talk. We've had several discussions about eDiscovery. There was an article this week in Law Technology News from the GC at Kia. I forget his name. I believe you know him.
Casey Flaherty, a very interesting.
How can I forget a good Irish name like that? And he was talking about something, or he displayed something in his article that seemed like a further iteration of something you've done for quite some time, for years now. You've given away a spreadsheet with a cost calculator in it for along as you always say, with a portable defibrillator for your clients when they see the cost.
Right.
But Casey took it out to do also a side-by-side comparison of 2 or 3 different bids. So you could get a real sense for who's charging what and drill down. I mean, on the one hand, we're getting more flat fee pricing, but on the other hand, I think that's very useful because oftentimes the flat fees don't include some of the categories that you might have in your calculator.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, from outside counsel's standpoint is most of the time, the cost associated with eDiscovery is passed through to the client. But the client looks to us to inform them as to what the costs are going to be, or they'll say, and quite appropriately, check with a couple of vendors and, get a cost comparison for us. And therein lies the challenge. On some of these things, I wind up with just a huge hot flash of incompetence when I try to compare, and get an apples to apples thing, or I've left something out of the calculation that turns out to be a major driver, and I just didn't see it. And so again, I think for the last 3 or 4 years, actually even longer than that, the cri de coeur of the consumer is comprehensible pricing. I think the industry and Casey's attempt to have a spreadsheet like that is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Although I do think that the vendor community is going to go kicking and screaming into the night on that.
Well, I suspect you're right. That's one of the things I really want to investigate at ILTA is those differences and cross comparisons. As you said, it's often difficult to comprehend what people are saying. I had an email from somebody yesterday saying, I've just got a bid on a case, and can you please explain to me what processing is? I'm a little confused. I'm paying for processing, but then I'm paying for denisting, and I'm paying for deduping, and I'm paying for a whole bunch of things. So what exactly did he do when he processed it?
Yeah, right.
And I think that's the problem, is what our definitions are exactly what you are paying for. So, yes, one man's processing is another man's potato.
Yeah.
And it's very, very difficult. But we had that same problem pre-eDiscovery. I used to have the same discussions on scanning and coding and what was included, and are we charging for load files and ingestion and outgestion, and it's an ongoing problem.
Yeah, I think the real problem is if you've sort of given your client an estimate, they tend to chip that into the side of a building someplace, and two things can happen. Number one is, I can't remember a case where you didn't have mission creep or mission explosion. Number one, but number two is there are times when the original estimate, there was a surprise in there.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, I looked stupid because I didn't factor in whatever that little charge was that I really didn't understand, but it was only a penny, what have you, but it grew.
Yeah. It was only a penny a page, and then we had 8 trillion pages, and oh my goodness, that added up. Yeah, you make an excellent point, though. One thing I always tell folks when they're talking with clients is do not give a guesstimate, a ballpark figure. Oh, the client will say, just kind of, tell me what ballpark we're in. Well, Fenway is my response. Because you're right, that first number you throw out, I don't care how many caveats you put in there, that's the number. That becomes, in their mind, the project budget, and you are locked into that. I don't care how much you try to do the Michael Jackson moonwalk afterwards to get out of it. It's just not going to happen. You're right. That first number gets carved in stone. So, yeah. Well, listen, quickly before we sign off here, because I just wanted to cover that whole issue. I think with the rise that we're seeing of attempts at predictable pricing and the drop in per gigabyte spreadsheets like this for some sort of comprehension of what's going on are just going to be enormously important. But anything else you're looking forward to seeing at ILTA? We zero in so much in our tiny little world, and I know this is the eDiscovery red zone, but just for the sake of anybody who might be listening, anything else that you think might be earth-shattering in the technology space? But not with you and I, that's like saying, what did you see interesting walk down the counter at Fry's the other day?
Yes, Well, as I've told you, I think this morning, as recently as this morning, I do like bright, shiny objects. And I recently got the Google Nexus 7, what do I call it, tablet, that I'm really enjoying learning how to use. I think this technology that we're using, Zoom.us, which I don't think that they're going to be there, but this is, to me, a technology that has really taken it to a next level in terms of ease of use and the usefulness as a tool for attorneys and for the legal profession generally, not just the legal profession, really anybody that wants to communicate.
And that's, we're involved with ESI and information, but as you and I were talking about offline prior to this, as an author, I'm very interested in digital publication and alternatives to the printed media. To what's that word I'm searching for? That thing we used to hold to get information. A book. A book. That's right.
Oh, books.
Yeah. I had trouble. They're fading. And new and innovative ways to get information out to us digitally. I'm very interested to see if companies like Thomson and West, Lexis, Wolters Kluwer, if those giant publishers are really embracing technology and finding new ways to disseminate information to us. Because, as you said, clearly this sort of face-to-face communication is exploding. So I'm looking forward to the show. For the first time in several years, not ILTA specific, I just think in terms of our technology, we've been in a bit of a rut for the last couple of years, and now I'm seeing a little bit of movement and kind of some new ways of looking at things, thinking about things. So I'm excited about it. So I will. And
well, hopefully we're coming.
Yeah. Well,
hopefully we're coming out of a tough economic period, and I think that sort of. Sort of put a brake on some of the developments that otherwise might have taken place. And so I think as we come out of the economic unpleasantness, people are going to, I think we're going to see a leap forward.
Now, did I just hear like a slight admission that perhaps the president has done something to help the economy?
No, that would be a misconstruction.
Not what I said, counselor.
My acid certainty is that it is in spite of, not because of.
We are sort of diametrically opposed in terms of our political economic basis here. Yes.
Yeah, we are indeed.
But I think you're right. I think things are improving, thankfully, for a number of different reasons. But I think that's going to be reflected a little bit in the show, and it'll be interesting to see. I understand they're predicting a turnout of about 3,000 attendees.
Oh wow!
Which is very good. So we will be again for anybody who's listening. You and I will be in the Digital War Room booth 210 on Tuesday morning for anybody who wants to stop by and subject themselves to this sort of chicanery in person. I'll be happy to record you for posterity. And of course, we'll both be around. You're speaking a couple of sessions?
Just one this year, which I'm actually very pleased with. It's on Wednesday afternoon.
Okay.
And it has to do remarkably with the sort of eDiscovery metrics. And so Beth Patterson from the Alan Arthur's firm down in Australia is moderating it, and we'll have Florinda Baldridge and Bill Bell. So it should be a good panel.
Florinda's an old friend, and as you know, very knowledgeable. So that'll be great. So people can kind of get a little bit more follow-up in depth on what we just discussed. So, well, thanks.
Absolutely. We're counting on Florinda to provide the substance, and Bill Bell and I the malarkey. So we'll be ready.
Perfect. Then I will see you next week at the ILTA conference in Las Vegas. And we hope that everybody who's listening in right now can join us there. We'll see you. The eDiscovery Red Zone goes to lost wages. Thanks, Brownie.
Thank you.